you cannot provide yourself with a good technique having so much stress on you. Not adjusting people to the exercise. You actually adjust the exercise to suit the customer or people need.
If you're in everything consistently good rather than occasionally great at one thing, like that's going to serve you a lot more.
We play the role. We don't play ourselves. To create the reality you want, you have to speak your feelings.
Hello, and welcome to the Strength Connection podcast. I'm your host, Micheal Kurkowski. I'm so grateful for you joining me today. And in this episode, I'm joined by Pawel Widuto. He's the founder of the Element Cycle System and the Freeheim Training Center in Norway. So I've spoken with many guests on this show about different areas of strength in our lives, how the physical, mental, spiritual, emotional areas are all connected. But Pawel brings that to a whole new level. He's a strength coach as well as a martial artist, a shaman, a poet. He taps into every area of strength in our life. And his program, the Element Cycle System, encompasses all of it. So in this episode, he talks about this system, water, fire, air, earth, and unity, and how he developed his weekly training for his students based on these elements. So when you hear this, you realize how powerful and how much sense it makes, but it's the direction that I hope we continue to go in the strength industry, recognizing that it goes beyond sets and reps. So Pawel's truly leading from the front, and it was a pleasure having him on the show here. So I appreciate you spending some time with me. I hope you enjoy this conversation. And if you enjoy this episode, I hope that you can share it with a friend and help spread the message of strength. All right, thank you very much. And now let's get on with the show.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. And Pawel, thank you so much for taking the time. I said, I'm really excited to talk with you. I appreciate Kirsten connecting us. We got a good mutual friend there.
Hi, Kirsten.
Yeah, no, she's great. I had her on.
I know she's a good girl.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah, no, I appreciate you taking the time all the way from Norway and got a chance to see all the work that you're doing with Friheim and the Element Cycle System. So really, there's so much stuff I could talk to you about. You like are in dabble in so many different.
I know, and we have 1 hour, right? So
exactly. So we'll try and get to everything. Yeah. So. Well, to kick this off for people who maybe don't know you, don't know your work, just a little bit of an introduction. I guess I know you dabble in the work of strength with kettlebells. You do a lot of mace work. Really, the Element Cycle System is kind of the earth, wind, fire, water, unity kind of.
It's a kind of framework you can express your creativity in different tools. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, to start, was there one modality of training or work that you started with first? Like, how did you kind of first really get into this world of strength and connection?
I started from martial arts, really. When you're looking at our material and our classes, it's still strongly influenced by martial arts and Kyokushinkai training and Kung Fu training, stick fighting, and of course sword fighting as well. So it came from that core in a way, and then I started to research as I call it, external load tools. That means the kettlebells and clubs and maces. And of course, I started to search for the mentors or the trainers which are good at the stuff. And my first trainer was RKC. My second trainer was AKFF, actually. So I had both StrongFirst principles in the kettlebells and then the competition style as well. So I do both, really. And then the clubbells, I was studying under Scott Stonon and Alberto Galazzi in US. And the mace work primarily from Rick Brown, which is my good friend until now, actually. Okay. Yeah. So then of course I have all other stuff. That means the CrossFit certifications and TACFIT and CSD and all.
Yeah. With the sword fighting, did you got into that first? Really, was that kind of like the first avenue that you got into kind of the world of kind of physical training?
I'm coming from Poland, so in Poland the movement of the reenactment is pretty strong, and it's primarily the medieval one. So I started from the medieval fencing, actually, with the full armor and all that shit. And I transferred to the more sophisticated, in a way, systems as a HEMA is the sword, buckler, saber fighting, and then Viking as well with the axe, spear, and sword and shield as well.
I said I was so excited to talk to you about all the strength stuff, but you sent me some of the videos of the reenactments that you do in Norway with Viking, and I'm like, I need to get a trip out here to see this. This looks incredible. So you're actually like putting together like battles.
Yeah, it's a good fun. This one I sent you was actually the show fight, which the movement are much wider and more like for publicum actually than we fight for points and to actually win. So it's supposed to look good, right? And I would never use like the Danax in the line fights or when people are around, because if you're not coming through. So we use spears but spears doesn't look good in a camera because it's linear motion. So you want to have the broad movement and a lot of screaming, of course, and a lot of mimic and body language as well.
Oh, cool.
Which
so
looks good.
Is there there's like a choreography to it that you guys do, or?
We always have a plan, and it always goes to so it is what it is. Yeah, we know our shit, but we can have a plan. Yeah, you're gonna keep me here, and I'm gonna catch it, and then you have 1,000 people looking at it, and you just be yourself in a way. So
yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah. So you started with the RKC in kettlebell training, and then
it's one of the trainers here in Norway actually, and then I got the trainer in Trondheim as well. My good friend Allan, which is now is in the it's a bit older than me to say it like that, and he's still doing it, and he's still fantastic athlete. So it's really nice to see that you can actually age well doing what you love to do as well.
Before you got into the hard style aspect of training, were you doing other types of strength training work before that?
Well, mostly in a gym, to be honest, because in Poland we used to say you're supposed to be big and scary, right? So big and scary was a thing. So I was over 100K that time actually. Which is not healthy anyway, because at least in things I do now, I don't need to be so big. I would rather have an agile and functional body than have a big and clunky, and I get a hit from the small girls with the long spears and all that. So and you die anyway.
Right.
So you rather be mobile and reactive in what you do than be strong and hit hard, really. Yeah.
I've seen some of the instructors through StrongFirst that have come out of Poland, and there's some of the strongest people that I've ever seen out there. And I feel like I should have more of that because I come from that heritage, from the Kurkowski name from there. I think I got more of the Italian on that side, but it seems like important. Like it's a big, just mindset over there of stronger and bigger. That seems like that's really the major modalities of work out there.
It's when I look at what's happening, yes, it's a kind of trend, but it started in a way to be more like functional fitness modality as well in Poland. So I did some certifications in Poland with the great guys out there, really open-minded as well, about the system. Okay. Which is the most important. I'm thinking maybe I move myself slightly towards the my circle, and I can just show you that.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Okay. So I just move myself. I just hope that my dogs are not going to be barking too much.
No problem. Podcast road trip. Yep. I like it.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. So I'm just going to move the things slightly there. And I'm going to show you guys the cycle. The cycle looks like that. Yeah. So my primary idea, right, was to make it circular so that you actually training all the aspects of your health during 1 week, right?
Okay.
So there are certain vibrations or frequencies of the days of the week as well. And we kind of connected the vibrations to the elements because, some of the days are more suitable for some work than the others.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the idea.
Okay.
So
that's the element cycle all
that's
together.
the element cycle. So you have a fire element there, you have water element there, earth elements, air elements, and unity elements in the middle. It's a fifth element, right? So we start a week from low intensity work because you want to prepare yourself for the impact, right? So, so we're starting the week from the water element, which of course symbolizes a lot more than just water. It's a direction west. You have some guides there. You have the autumn dusk, and basically is your mobility flexibility training, right?
Okay.
So we base it upon the yoga movements, Pilates movements, certain flows and transitions. It's not just to stand in, to be in one position. It's rather to move from one position to another, right?
Okay.
It just all the joints makes the body more flexible and
so it's
again,
more of a dynamic model that you're doing rather than anything stretching.
Yes, water flows, and you want it to flow, right? After the water elements, we decided to go for fire element on Tuesday. It symbolizes. It's a vibration of chi. There is a god of war, actually. So it's a punch. It's a dynamic movement. Simple, low complexity, really high intensity training, right? So you're gonna get like 45-15. You work in 45 seconds, rest in 15. You go for reps. All right.
Okay.
So you're getting your cardiovascular conditioning. In a way, right? So let's say it's your cardio, right? After that, you kind of don't want to do it the day after as well. So we have Wednesday, which is Odin's day. Odin is a god of the cognitive, the sophistication, policy, music, and everything, right? And then it's your air elements. Your air elements is after fire elements, right? So it's actually the intensity is going down for Wednesday. So like today, people coming for a class, I do primarily mace work, balance work, and everything, which is cognitive. So you have to be in the place. You cannot be at work. You cannot be home. You have to be here and actually focus on your task. So it's as well really, really good mental training for people because the complexity is high, right? So you have to kind of think, okay, I'm going to the right and I'm pushing it to the left or the right or the twist or whatever, right? So it's really sequence-based training, which is balanced perception and everything, which is really cool about it. And then we have Earth, which is like Thursday, the Thursday, day of the Earth. And it's primarily the volume, strength, and stability training, which is, you can say it's almost like a bodybuilding. It's just you're training your structure and your muscle mass and your muscle strength. And then on Friday, which is Freya's day, we come back to the water element and we do the water again, which is kind of recovery training, right? Saturday is our washing day. We don't work. Right, in the Viking word, it's the washing day. So you don't work, you wash yourself. So
a whole day.
You're recovering. A whole day, you actually just recover, right? And then on Sunday, I do something called unity, which is the combination of every single one. So you're doing the one circle of every single element, right? Which is really like a social thing. People coming with the kids, and we're just setting up the elements all over the place, and we work with what we need. So it's like a compensation. If I know all my people. I know the names. I know where they come to me, and I don't like that they're missing something. So they always get more of fire this day because you haven't been on the fire class on Tuesday and so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
So you're actually getting what you need, not what you like. You're actually getting what you need. So it's my evil way to do it, right?
Oh, gosh.
And this is only 2-dimensional, if you see here, right? What you need here, you need the one more dimension, which is coming the straight line here and following this way. And it's your contact with your higher self, the divine, or whatever you call it, right? So to do that, we actually using some of the concepts of my girlfriend's work, which is the yin yoga as well.
Okay.
So the meditative movements as well in the unity elements. So you're actually getting some meditation done during the week, which is important, right? So you contact with yourself, as you call it, or with the divine or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the work of my life. You see, that's the thing. Okay.
I was going to say,
coming back to my source. I can just show you.
Oh, it's absolutely just the concept of it. What's up, dude? The concept of it together, you know, it makes so much sense of working each thing. And we all know it's like it's body, mind, spirit, it's connection. But so often we only focus on one. We usually do the thing that we enjoy the most and say we're kind of doing the other things, but we don't really. You've really developed a program of each day there is a specific focus.
And you don't have a chance to cheat, actually. Well, it's evil thing to do, because if I wanted to have more clients and earn, of course, and more money, I would do, and I would adjust it to actually to make it so. That means that I would maybe do some more fire training, some more earth trainings, and less of the compensatory work I put in two places in the schedule as well. Because I know what people need in these stressful times. They actually need more recovery than they need the punch, right? So, you know, people stressing with the gasoline prices and electricity, which is just brutal, right? And they come in here and they do fire. What do you think they do? They're actually damaging themselves. They actually need to calm down and be here and now. So what the person coming through the door, I'd rather set him or her on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which are the light days, than the start from the fire element and getting stressed and out of breath and broken, right? So it's coming from the right place. It's coming from a place of love, because we actually want to fix things, right? And we don't, we don't doing just.
Yeah. Was this program, the way that you've set this up with this vision, is this something that you always thought that you would kind of steer towards and build a program like this? Or did you really for a while, did you focus more on fire? I know a lot of people that we get into this world and it's like push, we get as big and strong as possible. And then almost out of either necessity or injury, those things pop up where we have to kind of look at the other areas. Was this something that you always knew, like everything was important, or did you kind of fall into that as the time went on?
You know, the cycle of the elements, it's as ancient as we are, right? I mean, you know, from Platonic through Ayurveda and Chinese medicine, and everything is based on that as well. But yes, I went to school to become a shaman, and I was studying the elements the way I understand it, the way they speak to me as well. And then I did the witchcraft and everything, those spiritual practices involve the elements. So it actually is born from that I actually was interested more in the spiritual side of it rather than the physical. But then I thought, yeah, why not? I mean, we all have a cycles of life, right? When I started training, I was like a fire person. I was not doing anything which has to do with the recovery. I was doing fire, some earth, and then some more fire again, right? Because I thought this is a training, right? I'm sweating, I'm getting bigger, stronger, whatever. But there are so many other aspects of our existence that, you know, it's almost sad. It's, you know, if you know that you can do something that you're helping people with, and you don't do it, it's on you. It's your fault, actually. So I had to, you know, readjust myself first, you know, to fix things I have in me to give this to people. And it's how it is. And now I'm primarily doing the air work. I'm doing mostly complex stuff. I'm when I want to get some more fire in my life, I go and fight. Right. So this is my fire elements. This is the sparring, the intensity of hitting repetitively people. It's beautiful. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
And then of course I train other things not to break, because we break. I mean, it's a contact sport, right? So, and of course I'm not perfect at that, but I'm thinking what could happen if I didn't, right? If I didn't train the way I train. So I still have some problems with my rotator cuff. Still some problems with the lower back from time to time, because the fencing position is really unhealthy, but is tactical the best way to do, right? So you're offering something to gain something, and actually you just making you as safe as you can be in primarily really unsafe circumstances, right?
Yeah. When you go into your practices, Pawel, like you said, mostly you're doing things like air, but then once in a while, when you need more fire, then you're going and fight, you're doing some more stuff. Do you do that in kind of an intuitive approach, or do you have like a system that you follow where it's like, okay, like I know I need to get a little bit more of this? How does that work for you in your process?
Well, I'm trying to hold myself. Like today, I'm going to design the class, the air class, and I know the elements I need. One of the elements I really need, and I go and run through the class before I give it to people, just to check the quality, check it, right? That all the lines and posterior lines are checked, anterior lines are checked, the rotation is checked, everything is the class is complete. So I'm testing on myself, and it's part of my training, I guess.
Okay.
And then of course I can deliver it better because I already checked it, I filmed it, I checked, okay, the angles are good, so I can give it to people, right? So
Gotcha.
That's how I run. But usually I'm just coming to the fencing class and do the fencing on Tuesdays, because it's a fire element as well. So we have fencing class before the fire class. So I do the fencing class instead of fire class, right?
Oh, interesting. Yeah. When you have people that come in and start with your process of getting into the elements, does it seem like one area is more of a struggle for the majority of people to kind of understand and get? It seems like a lot of people understand the earth and they understand the fire parts of it. They know that push. But sometimes it's, like you said, like you kind of found this world more on the shamanic side, more on the spiritual side of it that kind of brought you in. But it seems like, is there one area that seems like people struggle with a little bit more to either fully comprehend or fully kind of immerse themselves in?
Well, I say it like that. I mean, there are some, we call it gender differences as well, because when the guys coming in, they kind of want to lift shit and get sweaty. Yeah. Right. And when the girls coming in, you have to force them to lift shit and get sweaty. Right. So they rather coming first on the lighter class and then slowly build up onto the more intensive classes. And the guys is all the way around. So when they're coming for the interview and they want to enroll, we actually push them to something we know they need, right? So so you're coming tomorrow, we're going to lift some things overhead, for instance, or the swing the big club or something like that. You're going to feel how it works for the lady. And for the guy, I would say come on Friday and let's look at your body, how it works. Do you need some more opening up? Usually, when people coming in, they're really close here. So shoulders are rotated forward, right? And the lower back is extended, things like that. So we first fix the structure and then push them towards something which, it's more intensive rather than just, go for a fire class and see how it goes. And usually it goes to shit.
Right.
So that's because, you cannot provide yourself with a good technique having so much stress on you. And it's a load and it's a high intensity, short breaks, blah, 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 right? And then people just go, whoa.
Right.
And things happen. Right?
Yeah.
So rather check your structure first, work with water element, your mobility, then add earth elements as your stability base. It's something that is going to catch you when things go wrong, and then build upon that.
Yeah.
So air and then the fire at the top, because the stress factor is really, it's really big.
It seems like, especially as we just go through life, the flow and the mobility-based work just gets so much more important. It just gets so much more prevalent in our life. I know I'm speaking from my own experience. Like, it feels so good when you're in that stressful situation, you got a lot going on, just to go and lift some heavy shit. Like, it gives you it gives you that release for a minute. But as you said, it's always finding that
it gives your ego really strong. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're unlocking a bunch of stuff on me already. But it's always a hard question, it seems, for people, of what do I want to do versus what do I need to do. It's always a beautiful thing when they line up together on it. But it seems like more often than not, it's like those flow type days, those more like days of just getting that mobility, and those do so much more for building your strength over the long term than just going in. It seems like it's a hard thing to break, though, if that's been your kind of mindset for a while.
I mean, we are in Norway. When I talk to people and then finding out what they actually do, when the guy, which is, the beautiful creature to look at, coming in, I see the structure at once, and look critically but with love on him. And he runs, he cross-country skis, and he cycles. That's it. That's it. That's the three things. And he thinks, I'm well trained. Yes, you are well trained to these three things. Okay. So where is your rotation? Where is your mobility? Where is your, stability in your core as well, which, you train none when you cycle, for instance. When you cross-country skiing, it's actually good training. So I've been, me being Polish, I didn't know how to cross-country skiing, but a couple of years ago I tried, and even though I'm not a 20-year-old anymore,
right?
It's going well. It's going well. It's actually pretty decent training for posterior chain, core stability, shoulder strength, and everything. So it's good. Good shit. Good shit.
Yeah, that cross-country ski, I've done it a few different times. You don't think of it much because it doesn't look like much. And
it's a meditation movement, you're just enjoying the view and, getting sweaty and all that. But to get to the point, it's difficult to find the places when people are honest with you. When we're talking about the gyms and all that, there are no places that, care so much that they can tell you the truth about yourself, or at least, what they think about yourself. So, people don't like to know that your shoulders are out of whack, or your lower back is out of line and you have to do something with it. And they do things they like to do all the time, and they're not, critical about themselves, or they don't know how to do it. I'm here, right? But the thing is, the health is in the middle of the cycle, and you need everything. You need every single aspect of your well-being, right? Because that's the aspects of your well-being. Well, you made of this stuff, right? You made to do it, or else. I mean, the knees over ankles. I mean, I really seldom have my knees over ankles when I squat, right? But we're not, we're not in the box. We actually get the opportunity to move as well.
Right.
So I'm not adjusting people to the exercise. You actually adjust the exercise to suit the customer or people need.
That's one of the most interesting lines, and it's easy to say, very, very tough, I think, for a lot of coaches to practice. That's where I got deep into more of the intuitive side of training over the last year, where the phrase in my mind, Pawel, that kept saying is like, no, like, you shouldn't have to fit your life around a program. The program should be fitting around your life.
Of course, it's the same, right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm using both, like, hard style swings and then soft style swings when I coach. I mean, I'm just adjusting exercise to suit the element we're training. So when we're doing the fire elements, it's really seldom the soft style swings. It's explosive hard style swings, right? And when we're doing the air element, and it's, you have to rest in between the reps, which is like sometimes the time set is like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're actually swinging the kettlebell 6 minutes, right? So you have to do this soft side swing just to, relax your lower back a little bit and just get into the next element of the exercise. So it's always, we adjusting things to suit the goal or, the needs of the people.
That's so interesting of the back and forth between the different styles of it. I came from a hard style world of kettlebells. I started with the RKC, been in StrongFirst forever. But with this podcast and connecting with a lot of people, I've talked with a lot of GS athletes. I've talked with Denis Vasilev. I've talked with, a lot of the Maria. I've talked with Phil. Like that element of the soft style it's so different in ways. But you can see the meditation.
It's not the same exercise. It's just called the same. It's a swing, but it's not. It's not. I mean,
that's exactly. I'm like, this is two completely different exercises. Like, it's not even the same swing. It's not the same snatch. Like, there's some elements to it that's different. But seeing
you're moving the weight from between your legs to overhead. Yeah, it's the same, but it's not.
Yeah, but seeing that on like a different, like a mental connection side of it, I never really thought of it that much as much. Sometimes like I thought like, like doing more of like a soft style, maybe if you need a little bit more of like that flow type release just for the body, but probably on the mental side of it as well. It's just,
it's meditation in movement. I mean, we, before the lockdowns and all the idiocy, what happens, we've been training to compete in the nationals in the kettlebell lifting as well as a group here. And I was training to do the marathon. The half marathon is at 30 minutes with one weight, with one kettlebell, right? For me, half an hour with 24K, it's like meditation, right? You just there, you're actually just breathing. And I cannot just, be in a quiet place and do it. So I put it like a really rhythmic music, which I like, which is like a folk, Viking, Norwegian, Scandinavian music. And I just go for it. And, align my breathing with the reps and align my breathing with my heartbeat, and everything just flows. It's like a pre-trance state, you can say, or it's a trance, you're just flowing in and out from the trance to your consciousness, and it goes. I mean, I think I delivered like a 300 reps once, and it's pretty decent actually. So even though it came, the old lockdowns came, and we actually didn't do it, I did train for it.
Yeah. It's funny when the lockdowns came here in the States, there's a lake about 2 miles away from my house. And I just spoke about this on a friend's podcast, because I'm always posting pictures of me down by the lake, just doing some sort of movement. And it was just one of those, like, you just needed to get out of the house at some point. I'm like, I just need to go. Yeah. And I grabbed a 24K bell and it just went down, and I just started playing with different movements. And it's like, I mean, that's one of the things I always loved about kettlebell training, is because you can take it anywhere. You can get out in space and move with it. Yeah. But it's such that aspect of play in there when you get into that meditative mindset. Like, it feels so good. Like, no expectations of like, I need to do this, this amount of work this day, just go in and just kind of play with it. There's something that I think we miss a lot of times as a culture of that style of training.
We miss that expression of your true self as a human being. No, I'm not talking about the training at all, actually. We so enslaved in, in our boxes that we don't see ourselves in it, that we know ourselves. We have role on the top of a role and on top of a role, and we play the role. We don't play ourselves, so we don't express who we really are. And I'm blessed to be in state of mind so that I don't really give a fuck what people think, and I just do my thing, right? And it can go bad, but then it goes bad.
Yeah.
Then it's on me. But it's not on my fucking role. It's on me because it's me who did it. Right? So Pavel as a coach, okay. Pavel as a father, all right. Right? I mean, roll. Mm-hmm. But where is me in all that? And I found the aspects of me behind it. I am a fighter. I love to fight. I train the way I train because I can misuse my body when I fight as well, which I pretty
I'm
much.
Sure, yeah.
I'm broken from time to time, but not so often, right? So, and it's something which genuinely makes me glad, which is important, right? It's something I really, really like to do.
Yeah.
And it's an aspect of me. Yeah.
What is it about the fighting that like makes you so glad? Is it the cathartic release almost of it, or is it the aspect that I'm mastering something to get better?
Don't even start. I love the primal aspect of it. Mm-hmm. That you grab something and what you can do with it. I love that. That it's something so deeply encoded in yourself that you cannot even explain it. We're traveling to the different Viking festivals with I call it shield wall or the fylking or the shield wall. We have some people fighting together from here, from Friheim. So we called ourselves Freeheim fylking. And guess what? I mean, 90% of those are way over 40 years old. Right? What does it say to us, actually, that, the primal force in us, it's so strong that actually, the people with the kids with the good jobs and all that, and they grab the sword, fuck yeah, let's hit something, right? It's so it's in you. It's like in the bottom of your stomach, something that says, you're supposed to do it. And you start to do it and you start to be actually pretty decent at it, even though your opponents are like in 20s and we are in 40s. We're doing a good job. So it is difficult to understand. I can't say I'm enjoying the hitting other human beings, right? Because it's not about that. It's about being, having the being able to contribute when the shit hits the fan.
Yes.
For me, when I stand in line, I know I have to do the job, right? So my body has to do the job. And I have to be aware of my, environment. I know I have people around me. They have to do the job and I have to protect them. So it's a play, but, we miss that in modern world. Yeah. I mean, we miss that, really. It's something primal in you that says, go and do it.
Yeah. It is. It's so.
That's the best way I can explain.
I think you did it perfectly, Pavel. It's it is so interesting because in the modern culture that we have now, it's Michael Easter wrote a great book called The Comfort Crisis, which I thought was a fantastic book, just about how it's so easy for us in the modern world now to be in comfort, and like there's a lot of great benefits to that. Like but we came from mostly fighting cultures where you had to fight, you had that role in that.
Fight for your freedom, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not just, we've evolved past that. No, there's a primal aspect to that of knowing how to defend yourself. And I know from a lot of friends who I've known from jiu-jitsu, people who have got into things like fencing. I've done boxing before in my life. There's a different energy to it that's hard to describe, but just knowing that you stepped in and you put yourself in that position, and then all of a sudden it was done, and you knew that you were in that's the man in the arena. That's Teddy Roosevelt. So he said there. And so
of course. And then you did your work, right? So you actually, invested in yourself so that you can provide for the others as well. Yeah. That's why I fight, really. Because I know I have a body which, gonna be hopefully functional in many years to come, and I can provide, right? And the fighting is just, I guess it's just a practical thing, because it was funny story about the brutal situation happened on the bridge in UK, and the guy was threatening, somebody with a knife, and the guy took the stick and actually disarmed the guy. And disarm is like a like a spear stick. And they actually, it was a Polish guy. It took,
Really?
I think it was like a really long tooth of some animal, whatever, and actually designed the guy.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's practical as well, and it's fun.
Right. Yeah. Well, and even that, it's like, how many opportunities are you going to have in that situation? Maybe, probably most of us, none, maybe one if you need, like very minimal.
I hope not.
However, the preparation for it and actually, practicing it is still so vital, and it's such an essential thing. And this is, well, it's so interesting because I love the aspect of strength training, and I love that work and total body work. I mean, kettlebell training, I think, is a phenomenal tool. It's a great modality. But there's something else to that element of that fighting, of just that different type of connection, that it feels different, just from, I'm by no means an expert on it at all. I've dabbled in a few different modalities of it, but it's a hard thing to describe the difference of it. And that's where that type of physiology, I think, drives the psychology a lot more than just getting into the weight room and just lifting.
I think it's more subtle than that. I mean, everything we do here is actually making you coherent in your feelings and your thoughts and actions, right? So you have to connect your heart to your brain to actually provide yourself with the true aspect of you and true you in a sense, right? So I think that's what we're doing in this place, and we're going to be doing in different places as well, because place is not really important. Important is idea. So in your movement, you have to connect your heart, your feelings to your thoughts, right? And even Jesus said, when two become one in my house, right? Jesus was a great guy. Great guy. I would easily have a beer with him, easily. Even though I do believe in different gods as well. He was a great guy. But
yes.
he was onto something, you see? He was onto something. And to create the reality you want, you have to speak your feelings out. You have to feel your feelings, connect with your thoughts, and actually speak your truth.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. And, if it doesn't go well, it doesn't go well. But it was still my truth, my essence.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask about that, because the work that you do with Friheim and the element cycle system and stuff, I mean, you have such a beautiful concept of all these things, and you've done it for so long. But somebody who's new coming in, who maybe doesn't understand this world as much in there, is it like, what's that conversation like when you first get in with somebody about this stuff? Like, is it like you said, like you meet with people, you kind of look at them in like a criteria, kind of see how their posture is and stuff like that. Yeah. But are you diving into all of these areas with people right off the bat, or do you kind of
Not at all. We start from the language people understand, right? I said we because everything we do here, it's actually making your masculine and feminine side together. You're gonna be finding the aspects of both masculine and feminine. I do primarily masculine side, and my partner, or my love as well, Gun, she's doing primarily the feminine side of it. And we're talking to people the way they understand us, and they understand movement, and they understand training, right? And they can taste the elements as well. So you easily can differentiate the fire elements from the water element, right? So they have something to actually feel on, taste on, right?
Okay.
And if it's really unpleasant, for starters, you have to do it more, right? Because it's unknown. We actually scared of something we don't grasp. We don't know, right? And then, of course, it's a process. I mean, people cannot come, even though there are some, shouldn't come on all the classes in a week. Shouldn't, for starters, because it's just too much neurological, gibberish. It's just too much.
Yep.
So you're choosing, or we choosing for them what they actually should start from, and and we actually add or maybe switch 2 elements afterwards. So you have some more strength training, some more intensity training as well.
Right.
So it's healthy, and we adjust it to suit the people actually.
I think that's such a great lesson you just said there about, speak the language that people know first, and like and connect with them on their level. I think so much, especially as coaches, we get in and we have so much information and so much stuff that we want to share, and we see
so much love I want to give you, right? But exactly. I just don't know why.
Exactly. But it's like going up and like just hugging them and like just not letting them go. And it's like, no, I'm going to take care of you and everything. And I got into this with more of a lot of the intuitive side of training, because that creative side, the divine feminine energy, was something that all of a sudden like started exploring that more in creativity and writing and poetry. And it's like, oh, wow, like this is another element that I didn't know I really had, and it's actually helped in other areas. And so quickly you want to like get into that with everybody that you're working with, when I'm so happy you said it's like, no, just meet somebody where they're at first,
just,
and build this over time.
Stick to the framework first, and then just scan them for the unbalances, importance. Build a solid structure with things like lunge, for instance, which people just doing totally wrong. Squats as well, deadlifts, press, overhead holds, everything, right? So it's first fix the fundamentals, and then you can add complexity, you can add intensity, you can add all things, and then the cognitive, of course, and then on top of it, when they're ready, they get all the the rest.
Do you encourage everyone to try the fencing work and kind of get into some of the
we're getting more and more women in, which is good, because I had only one girl doing it, and now it started to awake something. They kind of like sophistication of it as well, not just the brute strength, but the angles and technique, because to be honest, right, if the girl of like 50 kilograms is standing in front of me with the quick weapon, it's a contact weapon, right? And she's going to hit, quicker than me, because I have to move so much mass to actually get to her. So they're scary. I mean, in sparrings, ladies, here we go. I mean, you don't have to, you cannot out-technique them and outspeed them. You have to outforce them, really. You have to actually push through and just make them fall down and then finish.
Oh, that's so much fun. I have to find a program like this around here in New York, Pawl. It just seems like so much fun.
You can start from the HEMA places. You have a lot of in states, HEMA, Historical Martial Arts Association. I mean, we started to do, and then you wear masks, the fencing masks, and then the protection, and then they primarily do the long sword, sword buckler, the rapier, and the saber. So that's that's the thing. And you start from there, and then you can add, the Viking shield and Viking sword, because it's almost the same as sword buckler.
Yeah, I can see how it's the difference in the feeling I can see, because when you practice it, it's like just like anything with practice with physical, like if you know each movement that you're doing, there's great, you'll get better at that. But all of a sudden now, if you're actually in a session, you don't know what the other person is going to do, and all of a sudden you react a lot quicker. I could see there's so much how this could be such a beautiful thing, for the week to work with.
And there's certain insecurity in it, because this fight itself is chaotic, and then things happening, right? So I've been on I think the biggest fight I've been, it was 600 people at the same time. It was in Poland, actually. So it's 300 against 300, just clashing, right? And it's a chaos. And you're getting scared, and you're gonna be scared. I mean, I was scared. The couple of last fights was like plus 40 degrees in the sun, and I was sweating all under my padding and helmet and everything. And I think I just go forward, and I just gonna fucking get hit in my head. I'm gonna lie down, because I just can't do it. Right?
Oh my God.
So, and you don't see much, right? You don't see much. You don't see the angles. You're actually going forward and getting hit, and you die. Right? So, I wanted to experience that, how it could be, because we never know how it was, right?
Right.
But we know how it could be. So you don't see the axis coming on the top of your head.
Yeah.
You don't see it, right? You just,
Yeah, I could imagine like 300 against 300, and I'd like that's got to be something you can't. Yeah, you can't think of. Oh, I must imagine this is what it's like. Yeah, no, there's none of that.
Just go and do it at least once in lifetime.
Yeah.
Because
how long does a fight like that last? The 300 versus 300.
Well, it's like 45 minutes, something like that. So it's if you're unlucky and get hit early, you're gonna lie down, and you're gonna be shielding yourself from the others, because they're gonna tramp on you, and they're probably gonna tramp on you. You're gonna go over you in some way. So then you lie there sweating and waiting for the nice lady to come and give you water, because they actually go around and give you water.
Oh, beautiful! Oh, thank God for that. Yeah.
That's
great.
So it's fun, but as we getting older, to be honest, right? As we getting older, I would rather have one opponent in front of me than the wall of opponents. And you can actually express your movement better, because you have more space. And then your angles work better, not just forward and back. You're actually going around and dancing, and that's how I like to do it. But again, when you stay in line, you cannot really go sideways, right? Yeah, you're actually going forward or die, right? So,
this is you live a fascinating week, Pawl. I got to tell you, this is really really cool.
Why don't you?
No, I love the just the system that you created with the elements. I think just makes so much sense of just the different modalities, just the whole connection of everything together. I think that's just the message that needs to be spread more in the strength world, specifically in fitness. So it's
because I think I plainly don't believe that that mace or the kettlebell or the club is a perfect tool to your health. You have to do it. You have to do it all, actually.
Yeah.
You have to actually get the both kettlebell work in and the club work and the mace, which I love as well. And the saying that the kettlebell is the answer for health, it's just untrue. It can be, but there are so many rotation movement that should be included in this, and the kettlebell is not the rotation piece. It's not the ballistic.
Well, that's exactly it. It's there's always this debate about it's what's more important? Is it fitness? Is it nutrition? Is it accountability? It's like, why do we argue about what's more important? Why don't we just focus a little bit on everything and keep building all of them together? It's kind of like in school, if you say that, it's like, oh well, you're only going to study math, you're never going to study history or English at all. It's like, no, it's like you study everything and you figure and you get things more well-rounded on everything.
You have to be kind of jack of all trades, I guess, to be healthy, right? I'm not the strongest one, I'm not the mobile one, I'm not the most mobile one, and I'm not the fastest one, because I'm trying to get everything in an okay level. Not being too, because if you want to be really strong, you're going to be probably too rigid as well, right?
Yeah.
So there is always, the balance in it.
Yeah. If you're in everything consistently good rather than occasionally great at one thing, that's going to serve you a lot more in everything. So, Pawl, it's been awesome connecting with you. I really appreciate you taking the time. I honestly, like I said, the system that you put together with the element cycle, I think is fantastic. So I just hope more people keep spreading this message, with you on this. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. If people want to follow you, want to check out more of the stuff that you're doing, what's the best place that we can direct them?
The best place, it's our website. It's freeheimnorway.com. And then of course our Friheim Instagram, which is a Freeheim Norway, and then the Pawel Widuto life coach, my private one as well. Go and look. I started actually to speak way more than I move, but we get probably some inspiration there as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, my friend. This has been great. Listeners, thank you so much. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found some great value here. And if you like this episode, please drop a comment and leave us a 5-star rating and review. It does more to build the show than you can imagine. And do not forget to check out and join the Strength Connection Facebook group. In this group, I share the biggest takeaways and lessons from these amazing conversations, as well as training and strength tips for pursuing mastery and fulfillment in life. This group is filled with individuals looking to take full control over their strength, and it's the perfect space to explore new ideas and to share your journey. And you'll also get exclusive access to these Strength Connection Mastery Seminars. It's a deep dive into the physical, mental, and spiritual training that you can begin using immediately. So do not wait, go now. Seriously, go. All right, much love to you. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next one.